Kalimera from Cyprus. Watched Sleepy 2525 video, which I think he's a stick left one guy, and he did 3 different rolls. He had the results for us from landing zones on the right, center, and left. His results were mixed, and the results were mixed in terms of what sort of set he was using, and rightly so. He brought something to the surface. But when we throw dice, we try to have an arc, which you lift the dice off and they land somewhere. I also believe, I think 36 Foot Press told me to, and I also believe it to be true, that the way your mechanics work, the distances should be the same. Now, if you look at this measuring tape that I just used, and you come over to this side of the table, you will notice that in order for you to land your dice in an equal distance from the starting point, which is why I always say to people, use the same starting point. Don't lift off in midair. It's not a good indicator of where you started from. Now, if you do that, these are equal distances of 220 centimeters from my starting point, and you will see that there is an arc being created. Very, very gentle arc, but it's still created. Now, what that means is extra rotations for your dice, and I will show you this in a different way. I think it's right here. No. Okay. So, just to give you an idea, if I land my dice on the left from that position, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 dice from the wall, from the straight wall, to the landing zone. If I do exactly the same thing here, there's only 9 dice. So there's a difference of 6 lengths of die. In a perfect world, that would be described as something like, I don't know, 6 quarter rotations. So that's 1 rotation and a half. So that's basically starting with a 6 and ending with a 1 at the end. So you have to always consider these things. Even if you're the person who lands the dice flat on the table, then you have to consider other things. Where will the dice, after landing, where do they have to go? In a situation where you're shooting here, right in the middle, the chances are that they will rotate equally to the back wall, and more so when they're here and more so when they're here. They will rotate equally to the back wall. And what the middle part does is to safeguard the fact that you don't have any sidewalls to hit when the dice land. So they will go straight, come down, die. So this is the parts that you can control. What you cannot control is how your alligator walls are going to interact with your dice. Let me just tell you in terms of distances how this translates. Right. So first distance is here. Let's say it's 20 centimeters to the middle of the die of the chip. Still 20, kind of 21 and a half, 22 and a half, 23.5, 25 almost, 26.5. Here we go. We're at 29, and probably right at the end, let me just do this. We're at 32. So you can appreciate that if a die measures less than a centimeter, I think that's why they call them 775s or whatever. So it's just, this die is just under 2 centimeters, for example. Okay, fine. Then you have 32 centimeters to travel. In a perfect rotation, that rotation is 16 rotations to the back wall. So land one die there, land the other one here, you get 16 rotations here and 4.5 rotations here. So you tell me whether chicken feeders can actually be precision shooters or whatever. It doesn't work. And this actually solves the issue. Well, it doesn't solve the issue, it addresses the issue of, let me just see, yeah, this was probably the view. It addresses the thing about why did Sleepy, for example, get different results in his video. Why was the 2-4-4-1-2-6 a better set, more consistent? My reply to that would be this. If he kept to the set and he landed it somewhere here, either here or here, before the rotations make any difference, his set, being on the set, would yield a 1-6, and it would be a short set. But over there, where he gets to land the dice in positions where the extra rotations are going to be different for each die, then that set actually helps him not to produce sevens. Because he cannot, by definition, land the dice. Let's say, if you land here with a hardware set, your chances of getting a hardware are slimmer than actually random results, simply because your two dice are going to go and land in different locations of your back wall. And this is something, a bit of maths, so that I bring it in, and hope you guys can appreciate that and incorporate something like that into your throat. This is George from Cyprus, kind of the morning brief. Have a pleasant week, guys. Dice out.